are watching Reddit Troll.
Those who basically live out of hotels due to work travel, what's the best and worst part of it? The best is I spend almost zero time doing things like cleaning, so much of that sort of thing is just provided for me. The worst is restaurant food becomes literally sickening after a while. Also, it can be Groundhog Day pretty often. I often strike up a conversation with someone and it turns out to be the exact same conversation with someone else the last place I stayed. Best part, new city and things to try. Worst part, missing out on hobbies, having to reconnect with your so and kids when you get home because you missed yet another week. The restaurant food, Whole Foods hot bar was my treat. After a long period on the road I will bolt awake and literally not know what city I am in. I have to concentrate for 30 seconds on the events of the previous day that led up to my lying here at the Hilton in City X. It's really disconcerting and unpleasant, like geographic vertigo. You get tired of eating out pretty quickly. After a while, it doesn't taste like real food. I look for natural foods restaurants. I don't necessarily eat that way at home, but the food is usually less processed and less full of sugars and mystery oils and/or excessive butter. I owned a business for 5 years that required weekly travel. Ended up selling it due to the travel. Best part was seeing new places. I enjoyed driving hours on end and listening to podcasts, etc. I got invited to lots of fun events and people's houses. The worst was I never could sleep well in a hotel bed. I would get 3 to 4 hours each night. Always ate fast food and gained 50 pounds every time I got home. The kids had grown a foot. It put a lot of stress in our marriage even though the money was good. Just wasn't worth it in the end. Free airline miles is the best part, for me. I love traveling, so it's a bonus for me to get to see lots of new places and get paid for it. This year I paid $0 for all my family's personal plane tickets, because I was able to cash in miles accumulated through work for all of our trips. Lots have mentioned the lack of fresh, home-cooked meals, which I agree, but I'll add the constant small talk as the worst part. I struggle with small talk at the best of times, anyway, and making instant friends everywhere can get mentally exhausting for me. Edit, grammar. Hotel beds are generally pretty comfy, but my bed at home is better. I can sleep in my favorite divot in my bed. Finding healthy-ish food options can be a struggle. Also, packing/unpacking constantly. The best is getting to visit new places pretty frequently, trying their local cuisines, meeting new people. The best. Clean sheets and towels at whim. They're generally nice quality. You can make the room whatever temperature you want with no problems. There's always cable. Free breakfast is always nice, even if it's just a muffin and some juice. Free is free. The worst. Not being able to cook. Fridge too small. Cable packages change from hotel to hotel. Changing bed and pillow firmness hotel to hotel can cause some problems. This all depends on the quality of hotel you generally stay in. Not being able to cook your own food. I get so sick of expensive, greasy, rushed restaurant crap and just want some homemade chicken breast with a side of fresh veggies. Did this for about 6 months. Best parts include someone to clean your room every day, getting to move around from place to place, sometimes having a nice gym or pool. Worst parts, not being able to cook. Hotels can be very loud. I did that. I'll start with the worst parts. It's probably incredibly unhealthy for you. I'll eat out all the time, or most of the time I'll just crash in. You pretty much also live at the airport. Missed flights, connections, etc. I never lost a bag because I never checked in if I didn't have to. But if you do, it's something you'll deal with eventually. Personally, I enjoyed certain aspects of it. Your environment is always changing. You don't know who you may meet. I was a smoker, so I've met all sorts just from smoking. There's a lot more, I guess, but the living in hotel part was just a more pleasant part of it. The Atlanta airport is purgatory. I take 3-month contracts for work and have basically been living in Airbnbs or hotels with kitchenettes if that counts. Pros: getting to see so many different places, never being stuck in one spot, not having to buy furniture, making extra money off living stipends and per diems. Cons: having to pack and unpack all the time. Initially finding a place, I have to find it on my own and it gets dicey depending on the location, having to always adapt to a new location and start over with meeting people. If you travel a lot and stay in hotels, please consider sex traffickers transporting slaves advertise to clients by taking pictures of their victims. Said victims are often held in hotel rooms as part of staying on the move or having them available for ready sale. There is an app for taking pictures of your room and uploading them to a database so that law enforcement can utilize technology to quickly identify rooms based on the details, things like the wallpaper, furniture, carpet, etc. The more rooms they have pictures of, the better this thing is at spotting features in the background of images. Just a moment of your time when you're getting settled in could make all the difference in catching human monsters. Here is an article on the app and how it works. Google Play Store link to the app. Apple Store link. My dad travels a lot for work. He says sometimes it's hard to engage with home on weekends and stuff because he's still in travel mode, especially if he had to travel again the next week. I know my parents used to fight about it when we were kids. It's gotten better now that he's in a management position. Best part is that we have been able to have a family vacation to Disneyland once a year for the past 20 years for basically the cost of park tickets because he gets so many miles and points. Best part was the ability to visit a new place. Worst part was drinking to be able to fall asleep. Quit that job before I fucked myself up for good. Best part for me was the travel points and the ultimate credit card that was paid off at the end of every month. Made thousands on just the cashback bonuses alone. Worst part. One day I woke up in a cold sweat feeling stressed out. I started doing my normal morning routine of determining what country I was in, if I had enough in the local currency, what time was my flight out, and what my schedule was for the day. After I found out I didn't have an answer to any of those questions, I looked around and found out I was in my own bed. I didn't recognize my own bed. I love the travel and getting to meet new people. Staying in one place with a set schedule kills me and makes me want to die. The worst? Easily the food. Restaurant food is okay but gets sold. The hotel catering food? Fuck that. It gets so nasty after having it 4 days in a row. God forbid if I'm out of town for 2 weeks. Not as much now, but this was true for a while for me. Best part, it's like being single again. Just get to make your own schedule. Worst part, it's like being single again. Lonely. According to my brother. The best part, he stays in pretty nice places. The beds are good, there's cable, etc. Most importantly, he says that there is almost always a gym room, and since he is bored in an unfamiliar place, he is more inclined to exercise. The worst part, most hotels and restaurants near those hotels serve very similar menus, and aren't very healthy, which gets old after a while and counterbalances all the good your time in the gym did you. The main part, you can go adventure out into the town and try some of the more local stuff if you get bored of the hotel life. As long as the town you're in isn't awful and boring. Eating out so often makes me really miss proper home-cooked food. It also makes going out for food with friends less of a special occasion because I'm so used to eating out. Showers sometimes are pretty and miss. Some hotels have amazing showers with great pressure, others are really poor. If I'm staying in a hotel with a rubbish shower, I miss home. That can sometimes be the thing which drives me insane. Also, I have a weird thing about hotel baths. I will never have a bath in a hotel, and no matter how much I do it, shaving my legs in the showers is so much more awkward and ends up with cuts etc. My boss also books my hotels so I don't get much say over them. Again, sometimes she's amazing at picking them and other times it's a hellhole. Worst experience was waking up with bug bites over my whole body. Best things, though. Not having to dust, vacuum, does those household things. I get to meet some amazing people. I'm super social, so I'm quite happy to strike up conversations in hotel restaurants and bars with someone I don't know. I also get to see lots of incredible places through traveling through work so much, which is something I can't complain about. All of my expenses are paid, too. So if I go out for coffee whilst I'm working away, I get that money back. If I go out for coffee in my home city, that comes out of my own pocket. Little victories to make the trip easier, I guess.